Welcome back to Air, Land, Marine, your premier destination for all things in the air, on the ground, and in the wet stuff. Perhaps it's coincidence that a man by the name of Billy Ocean once released a song called "When the Going Gets Tough, the Tough Get Going." Because in the world of storms, high seas, heavy weather environments, and maritime emergencies, they don't come much tougher than the United States Coast Guard 47-foot motor lifeboat. The 47-foot motor lifeboat, or 47 MLB for short, is designed as a fast response rescue vessel for these exact conditions, and it's one tough cookie. One of the most incredible aspects of this boat is if it gets overturned, it can actually flip itself back over. The boat can do a full 360 degrees underwater and pop back up in around 10 seconds. Perhaps even more impressive than that are the men and women trained to crew this boat. Known as Surfmen, they are rated to operate the 47 MLB in its most extreme operating conditions and represent a service that's been operating and saving lives since 1790. The US Coast Guard safeguards the American people, saves those in peril, and protects the nation from all maritime threats. The service's jurisdiction includes matters of national security, border security, and economic prosperity in a complex and evolving maritime environment. The Coast Guard crews, along with their cutters, aircraft, and boats, are, as per their motto, Semper Paratus, which is Latin for always ready, and are standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to respond to safety and security threats in all weather conditions, day or night. With over 50,000 members, they operate a multi-mission, interoperable fleet of 259 cutters, 200 fixed and rotary wing aircraft, and over 1,600 boats, with the 47 MLB and its crews playing a key role in the day-to-day operations of this important national service. The 47 MLB is the Coast Guard's primary fast response search and rescue platform, operating in surf and heavy weather conditions. As stated, it can self-right in under 10 seconds if knocked over by waves or surf, and features state-of-the-art electronically controlled engines, as well as fuel management systems and an integrated electronic suite, all to ensure that it can continue operating despite what Mother Nature throws at it. As a result, the 47-foot MLB has become the trusted platform for operations in extreme sea and weather conditions. The 47 MLB was built by Textron Marine in the United States, with a total of 227 units delivered as planned and officially entering operational service in 1997 at a cost of $1.2 million each. To say that the 47 MLB had big shoes to fill is an understatement, as the boat it was tasked to replace was the trusty 44 MLB, which originally entered service in 1966 and, in the words of the US Coast Guard, was probably one of the most legendary boats that was ever introduced to American coastal rescue service. Big shoes indeed. The 44-foot motor lifeboat was a unique craft in the overall development of American coastal lifeboats, having been used successfully for 44 years, as well as having a worldwide influence on search and rescue craft designs. The development of the 44-footer is a prime example of a vessel being designed for very specific conditions, translating design concepts of seaworthiness, ease of handling, speed, weight, draft, strength, and capacity into a much-loved boat that Coast Guard crews still speak of in almost reverent tones. The vessels were the first steel-hulled motor lifeboats, with earlier vessels having hulls made from wood. The vessels were also the first motor lifeboats where a single crew member handled both the engine throttle and steering wheel. They were also the first motor lifeboats designed to automatically right themselves if overturned, so it's fair to say that the bar was set high for the 47 MLB. At its core, the primary improvements over the 44-footer are increased speed, greater crew protection, and improved seakeeping. The general characteristics of the 47 MLB is a displacement of 18 tons, a length of 47 feet and 11 inches, a beam of 14 feet, and a draft of 4 feet 6 inches. The vessel is rated to carry a minimum 4-man crew and up to 30 passengers. The hull and the superstructure are constructed entirely from 5456 marine-grade aluminium. Designed with a hard-chinned deep V-planing hull, the 47 MLB exceeds its hull speed, which reduces drag as the vessel moves through the water. The frame of the boat is composed of 17 vertical bulkhead frames, each of which is welded to the deck and hull, and 7 of which are watertight. The result of this is that the 47 MLB can withstand extreme weather, hurricane-force winds and heavy seas, and is capable of surviving winds up to 60 knots, waves up to 30 feet, breaking surf up to 20 feet, and impacts of up to 3 Gs. The hull is also rated to break light surface ice. Incorporating technological innovations refined over 2 decades in service, when pitch rolled or rolled into swells, or if the boat should fully capsize, the MLB will self-right in less than 10 seconds, with all machinery remaining fully operational. The vessel is self-righting even if the enclosed bridge is flooded or if the survivor compartment is damaged. The boat self-rights with the help of built-in ballasting and having the appropriate weight distribution to ensure that the centre of gravity is very low and that the centre of buoyancy is very high. In this configuration, the capsized boat will always want to naturally right itself. The vessel must also maintain watertight integrity, otherwise it would likely fill with water and sink. And to support this, the 47 MLB has 7 main watertight compartments, as well as a sealed buoyancy tank that is located above the flying bridge. All of this make the vessel unstable in the capsized position, forcing it to upright itself without any intervention from the crew. Another smart feature in this area is that some of the windows on the enclosed bridge are fitted with sensors that can detect water, and in the event of a rollover and a flooded cabin, these windows will automatically open, allowing the bridge to drain after the boat has self-righted. Additionally, the watertight survivors compartment is situated at the combined centre of rotation of the vessel and is equipped for comprehensive first aid while at sea. It's impressive stuff and can all make the difference between life and death for the crew and any passengers on board. Outside of these features, other benefits include the aforementioned flying bridge, which provides unrestricted visibility for the crew, along with fly-by-wire control systems which are situated throughout the vessel for maximum safety and efficiency. The fly-by-wire system allows the boat to be operated from 4 different locations, 2 from the enclosed bridge and 2 amidships from the open flying bridge. An interesting fact: in 3 of the control locations, the fly-by-wire system allows the steering of the boat to be controlled by joysticks instead of using conventional steering wheels. Another feature of the 47 MLB are its recessed retrieval wells. Located in the sides of the hull and situated less than 1 foot above the waterline, they allow for easier recovery of persons and jetsam, as well as allowing for easier boardings. For propulsion, the 47 MLB is powered by the venerable Detroit diesel engine. In fact, it has 2 of them. These Detroits are electronically controlled 6-cylinder, 2-stroke, turbocharged, after-cooled marine diesel engines, each producing 435 horsepower at 2,100 RPM. That's a total of 870 horsepower. These engines can propel the 47 MLB to a maximum speed of 25 knots, with an optimal cruising speed of 22 knots. This power, coupled with a 1,500 litre fuel capacity, gives the 47 MLB a cruising range of 200 nautical miles, which is more than enough for the vessel's typical area of operations. At the stern of the vessel, the 47 MLB is also fitted with an electronically controlled winch and 300 feet of 2-inch towline. This, along with 900 feet of 3¼ inch towline, make it rated to tow ships with displacements of up to 150 tons. It's pretty impressive. All wrapped up, this specification allows the 47 MLB to deliver outstanding performance in a wide variety of missions, including search and rescue, border patrol, law enforcement, environmental and natural disaster relief operations. Having saved countless lives since its introduction 26 years ago, the vessel has proven itself time and again as a platform with unparalleled stability, reliability and survivability. Earlier we mentioned the Surfmen that crew the 47 MLB. So who are they? Currently the highest qualification in the United States Coast Guard for small boat operations, the Coast Guard Surfmen are, after undergoing training and certification at the National Motor Lifeboat School, the men and women rated to operate the 47-foot motor lifeboat in its most extreme operating conditions. The school is located near the dreaded Columbia River Bar, an area so deadly it is known to mariners as the graveyard of the Pacific, and since 1792 approximately 2,000 ships have sunk in this area. What makes the Columbia River Bar so dangerous is that strong westerly currents from the Columbia River rush out and collide with the currents from the Pacific Ocean, creating extremely dynamic conditions. Tackling these conditions on the surfing course is the culmination of years of a boat driver's career. It can take upwards of 6 to 8 years to gain the experience that will earn them the chance to spend 4 weeks of their lives working towards the certification. For those that achieve it, the Surfman badge is issued to the men and women who qualify as coxswains, authorised to operate boats such as the 47 MLB in heavy surf. I think the Surfman's motto suitably sums up the nature of their work and the challenges they face out on the water, both during their certification and beyond. The motto was adopted around the beginning of the 20th century and states, "The book says that you've got to go out, but it doesn't say a word about coming back." And of course, it's all well and good having the skills and the right vessel to operate in extreme conditions at sea. However, in order to function and survive in these extreme conditions, surfmen must also wear specialist clothing. In fact, they must wear 3 layers of specialist clothing: a wicking layer, an insulated layer, and then a layer to keep them dry. Some of the other important things are the additional safety items like life jackets, pyrotechnics, and helmets, along with their heavy weather belts. The heavy weather belt allows the boat crew to stay connected to the boat, even if it's struck by a breaking wave or even flipped over while operating in dangerous areas such as a surf zone. It may surprise you to hear that despite their training to tackle extreme waves and surf, the primary objective of a surfman is actually wave avoidance. However, it's accepted that you're not going to be able to get into a zone and complete a mission while completely avoiding every wave. And so the surfmen practice how to encounter those waves while working in a surf zone. As part of this practice, they learn something called squaring up, which means positioning the bow of their boat towards the incoming waves. But in order to move through the zone, the boat crew must also move parallel to the surf, which can be a treacherous task. Surfmen view waves like this. You have the peak in the centre and 2 shoulders called near side and far side, depending on their distance from the boat. A surfman can either slow down to navigate around the closest shoulder, which allows the wave to pass in front of them, or try to outrun the wave and reach the far side. When you're running for the far side, you're trying to get to the farthest shoulder of that wave. That is the furthest area where it's not going to break on top of you. I'm told this is probably one of the most fun things to do, but apparently it's also one of the most dangerous because you're never really sure that you're going to get there. Training aside, the US Coast Guard maintains a state of readiness for the 47 MLB and its crews, with the typical crew consisting of a small team of 4 people with specific roles and responsibilities aboard the vessel. Some common crew positions aboard the vessel are The coxswain, the person in charge of operating and navigating the 47 MLB. They have extensive training and experience in boat handling, navigation, and safety procedures. The coxswain is responsible for the overall command and coordination of the crew during operations. The engineer, the person responsible for the maintenance and operation of the 47 MLB's engines and mechanical systems. They ensure the vessel's propulsion and power systems are functioning correctly. They also perform regular checks and conduct necessary repairs or adjustments as required. General crew members are the people that work under the directions of the coxswain and engineer. They assist with various tasks such as deploying and recovering equipment, helping to perform search and rescue operations, providing medical assistance, and maintaining communications with other vessels and shore stations. It's important to note that the specific crew size and positions can vary depending on the operational requirements, conditions, and the specific mission. Additionally, the US Coast Guard follows a rank structure, so crew members may have different ranks based on their experience, qualifications, and career progression. So, what equipment does the crew use on board the 47 MLB? The vessel is equipped with a range of key systems that enhance its operational capabilities and situational awareness on the water. Let's explore this further. Effective communication is crucial in search and rescue operations, and to that end, the 47 MLB features a robust communication system that enables the crew to maintain contact with one another, as well as with other Coast Guard assets, shore stations, and distress callers. This system includes VHF radios, satellite communications, and other specialized equipment to facilitate efficient coordination and response. The 47 MLB is also outfitted with advanced radar technology, allowing the crew to detect and track other vessels, land masses, and potential hazards even in limited visibility conditions. Radar provides critical information about the proximity, speed, and direction of surrounding objects, enabling the crew to navigate safely and make informed decisions. Accurate navigation is paramount for the 47 MLB and its crew to reach their destination and to carry out rescue missions effectively. In addition to radar, the vessel is also equipped with modern navigation aids such as GPS, chart plotter, and electronic navigational charts. These systems provide precise positioning data, route planning capabilities, and real-time information about navigational hazards. Operating in low light or nighttime conditions requires sufficient illumination. Therefore, the 47 MLB is typically equipped with powerful searchlights that enable the crew to search for and visually locate vessels or individuals in distress. This further enhances their search and rescue capabilities during darkness and times of reduced visibility. To further enhance safety and facilitate a swift response in the event of an emergency, the 47 MLB is equipped with an EPIRB, and the crew each carry a PLB. These devices emit distress signals and provide precise location information, aiding in rapid search and rescue efforts. At the other end of the spectrum, and somewhat low-tech but still essential, the 47 MLB is also equipped with a heavy-duty fendering system to protect it from impacts during rescue operations. From a defence perspective, if armament is required, an M240B general-purpose 7.62mm machine gun can be mounted at the front of the vessel. The M240B is a belt-fed, gas-operated, air-cooled, crew-served general-purpose machine gun capable of firing up to 650 rounds per minute. It's important to note that the specific radar model and other key systems may vary depending on the 47 MLB's configuration, age, and any updates or retrofits it has undergone over time. The US Coast Guard continually assesses and updates these systems to ensure that the 47 MLB remains equipped with the latest technology for effective operations and crew safety. While our focus today is on the US Coast Guard 47 MLB, it's interesting to note that in an environment of universal challenges, outside of the US there are also similar vessels operated in other countries. For example, the Canadian Coast Guard use a vessel known as the Cape class, which is based on the 47 MLB and also built by Textron Marine, as well as Seaspan's Victoria shipyard in British Columbia. Whilst the fit-outs are different in some areas, the main difference between the US and Canadian vessels is the engines, with the Detroit diesels making way for a pair of Caterpillar 3196 diesel engines rated at 450 horsepower at 2,100 RPM. Interestingly, these engines delivered the exact same speed and range as the 47 MLB's Detroit diesels. Both the 47 MLB and the Cape-class vessels also share similar performance, albeit with slightly less range, to that of the Trent-class all-weather lifeboat, which is operated by the Royal National Lifeboat Institution over in the United Kingdom. Regardless of the type of vessel, they are all crewed by brave men and women, many of whom are volunteers, all giving their time and putting their lives on the line to save those in peril on the seas. There is rarely a dull moment in the life of a 47 MLB, and they have all seen plenty of action over the years. So, what is the current life expectancy of this trusty vessel? When the 47 MLB was originally introduced in 1997, it had a projected service life of 25 years. However, of the 227 units produced for the US Coast Guard, there are currently 117 in service, and up to 107 of them are planned to undergo refit and renovation under the In-Service Vessel Sustainment Program. The ISVS program is the Coast Guard's strategic class-by-class evaluation of its vessels to determine what major maintenance and system replacements are necessary in order for them to reach or extend their service lives. Within this, the Service Life Extension Program, or SLEP, the Coast Guard has already commenced with updates for its fleet of 47 MLBs to reduce support costs and improve operational availability. The overall purpose of the Service Life Extension Program is to address specific systems and major maintenance in order to extend the service life of the 47 MLB beyond that of its original design. The original operational capabilities and characteristics of the 47 MLB will not change, and the main work will be on systems experiencing technical obsolescence. The program will ensure that the 47 MLB remains in operation for at least another 20 years. To achieve this, the service life extension work will significantly overhaul the boats, renewing the propulsion, electrical, steering, towing, navigation, hull and structural systems, among other work. According to Coast Guard spokesman Richard Cannell, the project has a total projected contract value of about $190 million and will be completed over a 10-year period. This work will ensure that the 47 MLB will continue to play a key role in the US Coast Guard long into the future. As with its predecessor, the 47 MLB has become a vessel that is loved and respected by its crews and has saved many lives since its introduction back in 1997. Based on its track record so far, there is no reason to see why it cannot meet, if not exceed, the 44 years service of its older sibling, and further cement its place in the United States Coast Guard Hall of Fame. So, wherever you are, next time you see a lifeboat out on the water, take a moment to stop and appreciate the engineering behind the vessel and the selfless commitment from the brave people that crew them. Thanks for watching. That concludes today's episode on the 47 MLB. I hope you enjoyed delving into its design, engineering and remarkable capabilities. Please feel free to like, comment and share. You can also subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos to come. As we bid farewell today, remember to stay adventurous, stay curious and keep exploring with air, land, marine.